Hello, and welcome to Lessons for Little Blessings. We're going to talk about some tips to help your children read. So if that's something you're interested in, why don't you stick around? So if you're new here, my name is Tessa, and I am a former first, second, and even preschool teacher, and now I get to homeschool my boys at home. So the point of this video is to give you some tips on helping your child read. Now, if you need some more really basic foundational reading steps, I'm going to point you to some of the earlier videos I've done on a how to read series, but this is kind of a continuation of that, and we're going to dive more into certain phonics skills that once they kind of have that grasp of reading, this is just going to help boost them as they progress on. So really this could be used anywhere from preschool, kindergarten, first, second, third. Some of these things could be adapted to some of the more complex phonics skills that the older kids learn. So you can kind of flex the activities based on the things that they're learning. So what is it we're going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about word families. Now these kind of have different names, but basically it's just that word ending, the chunk at the end of the name. Rhyming uses word families. There's a whole bunch. I'll put a little example here so you can see kind of what I mean when I say word families. So once your child knows their letter sounds and they can decode or sound out CVC words or consonant vowel consonant words, then they can use this video. So the vowel consonant at the end of a CVC word, that could be just a really easy word family that you start with, or it can go all the way up to the more challenging word families like IGH in the word light. Another thing these are called is onset rime, so the rhyme at the end of the word. So we're going to go through a few ways that you might teach or introduce word families, something you can do with like a whole class or multiple children, and then we'll go into some different games and activities that they can do to practice these skills, and then also we'll have some independent like worksheet practice pages that they can do to further practice. I will put in the description box below the links to different products you might find useful for these and the document links if you would like to print them out. Honestly, you can just kind of do some of these on a piece of paper with pencil or crayons or whatever. But I know some people like to have something that they actually print, so I will put those down below. Some of these I've used just in the years past with teaching, so if I can't find the exact thing, I will try to link something similar. And lastly, before we jump into it, if this teaching homeschool content is something that you're interested in, please consider subscribing to my channels and you can get more videos on things like this. Okay, let's dive in. So a great resource for teaching word families is using an anchor chart. We did these a lot in the classroom because it's just a great visual of what kids are learning. They can refer back to it, so it becomes a resource that they can use. If you're at home, you might not want to put a giant poster on your wall. I get it, but you can print it out smaller, or you can just give them a copy that they could keep in their things if you don't want to hang it on the wall. But this one is from Kindergarten Kiosk. It is a paid one. However, it does have really nice graphics, and I know some people are into the little cutesy artwork, so I wanted to give you that option. And the visuals are great for those younger kids, but I will show you some other options as well. If you would not like to purchase, you could make your own. So here's another option. In the older grades, sometimes we refer to them as chunks, word chunks. So this, we just hung up the different ones as we worked on them. And it was maybe like one a week, maybe a couple a week, just kind of depending on the time frame. This is another option too. You could just list them on a chart paper. That's an easy one to make. Then we've got this type, which is kind of like a circle map, a different kind of thinking map. So you've got the word family in the middle here, and then you can write and draw these yourselves or even have the kids do it too. So that's kind of a neat one to get them doing that with you. This little chart can be a standalone, or you can use it kind of as an anchor chart if you don't want one of those, you know, giant posters hanging on your wall. You might choose something a little bit smaller like this. And you can also give your student or your child copies of this, and they can kind of keep track on their own as well. So it can be used as an anchor chart, and just as you maybe discover in different reading new words that belong to this word family, then you could just keep track, and they're able to kind of see all the different words in that word family. A great way to introduce word families or to teach it is using different books. There are various phonics books that specifically include word families, like these Usborne books. So that's an option. And then there's these are really old. I don't know where I got these little phonics readers. And so you can read it with the kids and have them find the different word families. Or like if you're doing shared reading in the classroom, these are great little books to use and read with the kids. And you can kind of read it. Fred has a bed, and then ask like, oh, do you notice anything about these words? Anything that's the same? And so you can kind of question and see if they notice. And some of these have different ones. So there's the at, the ed, ill. These Bob books can also be great for word families, and I know a lot of people have them already. You can see here there's some of the common like ed, ad, at, some of those basic ones. You might find some books that have some of those trickier ones, the OOSE, and then this Mouse's Hide and Seek, there's the IGHT that I mentioned earlier. So there are some that can be more of the, you know, older grades, ing, and the younger grades would be just mostly doing those 2 letters in a CVC word. So different books that can help to teach the word families. Another thing I wanted to mention on using these books, especially if you're doing it for shared reading, you can use the same book for multiple days. So don't feel like you have to find a different book every day. Every time you read it with the kids, they'll pick up more and more, and you can focus on different skills every time that you're reading it. So you might read it to them the first day, and then the next day you might see if they can read it with you, and then find the different word family words, the 8. And these ones are highlighted, so it kind of does it for them. On a book that doesn't have that, you might have, let's see, I'll look at one of these. You might have them find it. You could use, there's like the highlighting tape. You can have them find and highlight the word family, ig. Kids love that highlighter tape. I know you might not want to go buy a bunch of these books, so I just wanted to let you know that you can use it and use it multiple times. Another great activity is a word sort. So I'm going to link one that I couldn't find, this one that had pictures with it, so you don't have to do that. Actually, I did find some that you had to purchase. I try to give you guys free resources where I can. And then some of them will give you like just the short A. And then if you want more, you have to buy more, but at least it gives you kind of an idea, and you can see if you like it and if you want to purchase more, or you can just kind of get the idea and then make your own. You can definitely write these or print your own out. So the one I have linked will not have these pictures. However, if you find one with the pictures, it's just a simple matching sort. If you don't have the pictures, they will just be sorting the words in the same word family. So this would be the at word family, and this one happens to all be the at word family. I thought I had I thought I had some other A's. So, well, I'll show here in a picture to show you the ones that I have linked, and it's got different short A vowel sounds that have different word families at the end. So like AN, AM, and they could just sort. So this would be like all the AT word families, and then they might have like all the AP or AN. So that's a word sort. You can also just use these as flashcards and have them read mat, fat, hat. So they'll get really quick at reading all these CVC words. Another activity you can do practicing word families is just simply building words that are in that word family. If you don't have magnetic letters for your child, that's one of my all-time, this is what you need to work on different reading, phonics, skills, activities. So get some magnetic letters. I really do think it's worth the investment. And there's a lot of different ones you can get. So let's say we'll stick with A's. So let's say we have AD for a word family. So we could just have them build different words that go with that word family. So we could do a B and then the word family. Okay, and then with these, you can kind of manipulate them and move them around. So they can see here, there's the add word family. We put the B in front of it and it's bad. Then we can do another one. Okay, and we've got a D, add, dad. Okay, so they can see here and make sure that they've got their word families should be matching. Add, and they can build different words that way. This egg activity is great, especially if it's kind of by Easter. I do have a video that goes into these a little bit more. I think it was one of my Easter ones. So I'll link that and you can get an idea about more of that. But these are fun because you've got the word family on the one side, and some of these are kind of a little bit higher up ones, not just my basic CVC ones. Those ones my son's actually doing right now. So these have some more like awk, ick, some of those word families that you might be doing with a little bit older kids. Eep. So the idea is you put the word family on the one side of the egg, and then you just write different consonants or blends or digraphs that will make a new word. So the younger kids, you probably will stick just with, let's try this one. So you might stick just with the consonant at the beginning, just the single consonant, and then as they progress, you can do more of these blends. Especially if you've been teaching the blends, this is a great one to do. So they really just slide it and they make new words. So this could just be something they do and they read each new word that they make. Make sure you can see that better. Or you can turn this also into like a writing activity where they write down all the words. They could do that, at like a literacy center or just independent work. So that is kind of a fun little egg game. I'm going to show you a couple more different ones you can use for activities. This one would be a great little literacy center, word work, or even like in a pocket chart would be great. We've done that before. So this one's like a sort, but it's fun because it's got ice cream scoops and the kids get to make an ice cream sundae. So that's fun. I'm going to scroll down here. All the directions are included with this one. Again, it'll be linked down below. So they're just sorting the word families. So you see that there's different endings, different word families in this one. And then they've got their little cups down here. So when we did this on the pocket chart, I had these little cups down below, like on the bottom pocket, and then they stacked the ice cream scoops in as they sorted them in the correct spot, and they just put them kind of on top in the pockets above. So that's a fun one for them to do. And then it also comes with a little page. So if you want an independent practice page for them that was practicing the same skill that they did, which is really great if you're doing like corners or literacy centers. So there's that included as well as black and white option. So that's a fun one. And then another game that you might do is if you've ever used a file folder. I don't know that people do much anymore. That's kind of something that we did a long time ago, but it has instructions. If you'd like to do a file folder game, you essentially just make it in a file folder, but you don't have to. You can do it on any kind of paper, however you would like, but it does have instructions for that. And they are, again, just sorting different petals to make a flower that's all in the same word family. So that is another game that you might like to play. And then it's also got one with just the pictures. So you could print out both actually and have them like match the word petal on the picture petal. That would be an option to do this game. And lastly, I want to show a couple different options for some independent practice. This is a color by word family. So I'm sure you're familiar with color by numbers. There's even color by sight words. And this one is specific to word family. So that's kind of neat. This is a freebie I'll have linked down below so they can color that. And the other one I wanted to show was this one. They will color, the word family will be listed here, and they will color all of those, in this case yellow. And then with this one, there's also a cut and paste here. So they'll cut and paste all of the word families that are that are listed up here. So those cutting pasting ones are a great way to give them practice with word families as well as fine motor skills. Word ladder, so ANs, AMs, and these give picture support. So this is nice for the younger kiddos. So this one is a great beginning point, so they can see the picture and then they figure out what goes at the beginning sound. So this is working on both word families and beginning sound. So you're kind of hitting two little skills there in one. And then there's another one on this specific copy where if you know, maybe they're more advanced and you don't want to give them the word family at the end, and you can just have them write the full word as well. So these are called word ladders or word stairs. So here's the stair one. I couldn't find this one, but you really could just have them draw this, or they could do it more as a ladder as well. Earlier grades, you could just keep the same AN word family and have them find a different word that's still in that word family, like man. So they would basically just be changing the beginning sound to a different consonant or blend to make a new word, like put a P in front of it, so pan. And then they would put a different letter in front, so maybe a T, tan, and they would just keep going up and writing a different word on each step that goes to that word family. The other way you can use these is you can have them change any letter to make a new word. Now this might make it not be specifically a word family practice, because if they change, say, the ending to a P, then it's map and it doesn't belong to that word family. However, that's still another great skill that they can practice, especially with the older grades, and just manipulating the letters to make new words. Well, I hope you found some helpful ideas that you can use to help your child with their reading. If so, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and feel free to leave any comments, questions, or video suggestions down in the comments below. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day.